Hey, MNTV family. It is Mike, and I'm wondering if anybody is out there. Am I actually live? Yeah, I think I am. Cool. Okay. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to our very first live stream. If you see me looking to the side, I'm looking at my phone to make sure it's actually working. Because, you know, I'm kind of like in a little bit of a void here, but it's all good. It looks like we're here. Looks like people are coming in. Looks like I'm even getting comments. Curtis Yorktown in the house. How you doing? Who else that we got? Beach Phoenix. Hey. Welcome, fellow traveler. MNTV is here. Oh, I know who this is. I know who that is. That's my girlfriend in Ghana. Checking it out. Ooh, like a smoke detector. All right, well, we are going to get started. We're talking today about travel, and I have got I'm going to do kind of a Q&A type of session. So if you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I will try and I'll try and answer as many as I can while we go through here. And like I said, just kind of talk about travel. So I am, well, I don't know if I'd call myself a seasoned traveler, but I guess I am. I've been to a bunch of different places. My parents got me into travel when I was young, very young. I think my first flight was maybe when I was 5 years old. My dad took me to Ghana, Africa for the first time. Obviously, I've been to Jamaica, UK, France, Germany, Belgium, Luxembourg, Amsterdam, Kenya, Ghana, Thailand, Cambodia. Where else have I been? Mexico, Grand Cayman Islands. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I've been around a little bit, so I kind of caught that travel bug. And one of the things that I've wanted to do, ever since I had kids was to, get them into travel as well. So yeah, that's what I've been doing with this channel. That's why I started the channel. We actually started the channel because we were going to Ghana, Africa. I was taking the kids and stuff like that, and I thought it would be cool to kind of document it, start a channel, see if we can do something with it. And yeah, 238 subscribers later, it seems like at least one or two people are interested, which is kind of cool. Speaking of which, if you are watching this right now and you have not subscribed, please head down there, click the subscribe button, click the like, do all that kind of stuff. I'll also mention now that we do have a Patreon that we've started, and that will help us to continue bringing adventures to you. We've got lots of big plans coming up, both midterm and long term, and I'm not going to talk about them now. I'm going to make you wait so that you stay on with us. So keep tracking along. I see I've got some questions already. What have I got here? Yes, I didn't have much time on here, but I'll watch the replay later. Thanks, Beach. That's awesome. My question is, how do you do your budgets before your time, and how far in advance before the trip? That is a good question. And it was a question I was going to answer. It's in my list too, so I'll answer it now. So when I am looking at places to go, I mean, obviously I've got a list a mile long of places that I want to go because I want to visit every country on earth eventually. That's my plan, and that's my hope. So, we just kind of put away little bits as much as we can. And the thing is, you got to be disciplined about it, right? Curtis knows about budgeting, but you've got to be disciplined about it. You got to know that you've got a goal in mind, and if you buy that extra coffee, or you buy that extra expensive outfit, or you buy those new kicks, then maybe that's going to be the difference between getting a ticket or not getting a ticket, or getting the hotel you want or not getting a hotel you not, or not being able to do the trip at all. So you've got to be disciplined in your savings. You got to put that money aside, and you've got to know that you're not going to touch that money aside for what you're going to do. Now, as far as how far in advance of a trip, that all depends on the trip, right? If it's something small like hitting a cruise or something like that, then you don't have to save as much, or as far in advance. If you're doing something like going to Ghana, then obviously you're going to be saving. You're going to have to save a lot harder to do that. So that's the way it's going to work when you're doing that. The other thing is and this is one of the questions I was going to answer as well, is look for the deals, right? There are a lot of ways to bring the cost of your travel down, and you should definitely be looking for all of them. You don't have to fly the highest class when you fly. I know that doing the what do you call it, just doing the regular tickets on those airlines when you got that much leg space and all that isn't always most comfortable. But if you can put up with that for a flight rather than getting the business class or first class, then you're going to be better off. You're going to save some money. If you're doing something like a cruise, sign up for their newsletters and such like that. If you have a favorite airline, sign up for their newsletters and stuff like that, or all those booking sites. Sign up for their newsletters, and you will often find that you've got 5% off, 10% off, or flash deals or stuff like that you can get into, and really bring down the cost of your trips. So not only just saving, but definitely looking for those opportunities to bring down the cost of your trip, to save a little bit before you get to that point. Yeah, you can go full bore on the trip and you can pay full price. For our Ghana trip, we didn't get as many of the deals. We didn't get the deals we would have liked for the tickets, simply because we weren't able to book them as far as advance as I would have liked. So, instead of paying, $1,800 for a ticket, we ended up paying just about $2,500 for a ticket. So, the more in advance you can book things, especially when it comes to flights, the better you are going to be. So that's the answer for that question. Hey, Nanfina, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. So where was I? So yeah, I think I was talking about, how we started this travel with our trip to Ghana. And if you haven't checked that out on our page, we've got about a 7-part series on our trip to Ghana, right from the flights all the way here, or all the way there to Ghana. We did a lot of different things while we were there. And, I wanted to have something that the kids can look back on and remember. Right. So, having it on YouTube, having it out there. I mean, yeah, I could have just filmed it and put it on a hard drive here or something like that, or kept it on our iCloud. But, I thought the channel was a really cool way. And since then, it's been great. The kids really got into it. We got into it, and we've kind of built this thing that we've been going on. And, like I said, I'm really thankful to, you guys that are in the stream. I'm thankful to the 238 or so that have subscribed to the channel, because it means a lot, not only to me, but it means a ton to the kids who see those numbers and they think, wow, they are special in the world, right? There are people who are interested in what they do and what we do, which is really, really cool. I am happy that you got into, for sure. It's really great to have some familiar faces here, especially some people that I know are real experts at travel as well. Obviously, I've watched a bunch of your blogs, so I know you know about travel. So if I say something wrong, you're gonna get in the chat and you're gonna correct me, I'm sure. Oh, so um, I was asked, hey, Nikki's not in here. I thought she was coming in here, but she asked me earlier, um, how do you choose your destinations and how do I plan for my travel adventures? So obviously the big stuff, when we have family things that are coming up, those are the things that dictate. But we also have plans. The kids have a long laundry list of places that they want to go as well. Ghana kind of sparked their interest as well, especially Isaac, my eldest. He's very interested in traveling. He wants to, go to Japan. He wants to see Tokyo and places like that. So, we do have a long list of places to pick from. And the great part about being on planet Earth is big and there is so much to see. So, choosing can be hard, but choosing also depends on, things like budget and such like that. When we're doing our closer to home, uh, when we're doing our closer to home adventures, sometimes it's just stick a pin in the map. We just went to a place called Writing on Stone Provincial Park. So for my stateside people, when I say province, I mean it's like a state, right? So if you hear province, it's a state. There's Nikki. Nikki, hey, how's it going? Been hearing a lot of young folks say they want to go to Japan. Do you know what? This anime thing has been really, really big. And because, the kids know that this anime thing is from, is based out of Japan, they've really been pushing, they're really interested in that. So I know that's where my sons, both my sons actually are very interested in anime. So they see that stuff, they see the stuff coming out of Japan, and that's why they wanna go, right? And it's cool, right? I want to go to Japan too. It's actually one of the places that I haven't been. So that's really, it's definitely on my list too. Hey, Alicia, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Really happy to see these familiar faces. Makes me feel a lot more comfortable. Yes, 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 yes. Make sure you hit that like button. Definitely, if you haven't subscribed, do that too. So, it really helps me out and it helps me to know that, hey, this is actually something that's interested in something that I should do again. So I'm definitely, I definitely love to see those likes, definitely love to see those new subscriptions, and we'll keep making great content. So as I was saying, talking about how we plan trips and stuff like that, when we're doing our closer to home stuff, it's just sometimes just a matter of sticking a pin in the map, just kind of going, let's go there. We went just last weekend. We went to a place called Riding on Stone Provincial Park, and there was a 3.5 hour drive down south. In fact, we just about got to the border. I think actually looking at the map, we were pretty close to the stateside border, and we just got in the car and we went. Right. And, next, when my kids are back again, we're just going to choose another direction. I think Sarah said she wants to go north this time. So we're just going to find a place that's north and just go for it. And that's the great thing about travel is sometimes you don't have to put a lot of forethought into it. Yeah. If you're going to leave, if you're going to leave the state or province, if you're going to leave the country, if you're going to leave the continent, yeah, you got to put some planning into that. But if sometimes it's great just to get in the car and just choose a direction and find find somewhere cool to go, right? The world is a great place, but you know what? We have so many cool places in our backyard. No matter what state you're in, you've got something cool there. No matter what province you're in, you've got something cool around. I mean, this summer we're planning a couple of road trips, right? When I have the kids over the summer, And I mean, I've got a list, I've got a whiteboard that's sitting right here beside me. And one of the places that we have is we're going to go to a gopher museum. Yeah, that's a thing, right? A museum full of, I guess, I'm assuming taxidermy gophers, right? There's so many cool places that you can go right in your own backyard, and they're just a Google search away and a car ride, in a car ride distance. That's all you got to do. So definitely, I mean, if you're watching this and you get anything at all out of this live stream, out of being here, it's just get out, get out of your house, find somewhere to go, see the world around you. I read a stat actually, it was years back, and I wish I'd looked it up now. But I heard that something like 90% of people never leave the state or the province that they're born in. And to me, that is super, super sad, right? There's so much of the world to see, so much to do, and traveling will change your life. Getting out of your state, especially getting out of your country, getting off the continent, right? It will open your eyes. You will see things and you will understand things that you would never have dreamed of before. It will change your perspective, right? Especially us here in North America. Sometimes we kind of, get that feeling that we're kind of the center of the universe here. And once you leave the country, once you see how other people live and you hear what other people, think about you, and you see their ways of life and their customs and their stuff, you'll change. You will change. Let's see. Alicia, what's a province? Question asked, question answered. A province is like a state. I was just going to say, I thought he said them separately. Nope. So yeah, up here we have provinces. We've got 12 provinces, 3 territories. So yeah, if you hear me say province, just think state. Let's see. Some people don't leave off their own block where they live. And is that not sad? Like, it's really sad that, people don't go far enough to get anything beyond what they know. They kind of get in their own bubble, and that's it, right? That's all they know is just this little bubble that they're in. And like I said, just travel, just get away from where you are, and it will change your perspective on life for sure. Yeah, 100%. Travel really does change your life. And you know, you were, you lived in South Africa, and now you're in the States doing your thing, right? So, you get it that, travel, when you see, how somebody else lives, and get a chance to walk a mile in their shoes, or at least see where they're walking in their shoes, it definitely will change you for sure. Thanks. We're about to act up in this chat, right? Yep. I know you are. I know you are. It came over. Yep. They don't leave the block in the Chi. No, because they're afraid to leave the block in Chicago. We know how this works, right? Chicago, the Windy City, man. I think some of them are afraid to leave their block, right? For real, for real. I'm afraid of flying, but I cannot imagine not flying. How are you afraid of flying? Girl, I don't believe that for even 1 second. You're afraid of flying. You are not. You are not. Oh man, not Chi. Chi, we love you, Mike. Look, I'm not up with your stateside slang and all that kind of stuff. I speak Canadian, eh? Hey, speaking of Canadian, you guys were asking about places that we go to in the States. So I brought along, this is my Tim Hortons right there. You asked for it, there it is, Tim Hortons. And part of my donut review actually has got a bit of Tim Hortons, but I did not buy a Tim Hortons donut because they are gross. But drinking a tea. Oh, speaking of donuts, here's the sneak peek. I'm not going to show you where I went, but look at those bad boys in there. Look at that. I'm not going to tell you where I went for them, and I am not going to tell you how I rated them. You're going to have to wait for that to come out, people. The she. How do you pronounce it? I don't know. I don't know. The big Chicago. I don't even know how you pronounce it, man. I knew it. Oh man, you guys are making the first live stream. The shy. Tim Hortons for the win. You know what? They've got this thing called roll up the rim to win. And they used to they do it from the app now, but what they actually used to do is they actually used to print the prize that you won up in the rim. So you had to like roll it up, and people like used to do like this, like you'd see like hundreds of people looking like a freaking beaver just to see what prize they had. It was great. I miss those days actually. Old school's better. This looks good. They are good. This is tea, but you know, you can get coffee and stuff like that. In my video, I do a whole tutorial about how you order a coffee in Canada. Not cheese. I thought you were about to ask for some cheese. Oh Lord, you guys. Oh, and you already did. Do you know what? I had the time, so I just stopped for donuts today. So I haven't edited it or anything like that, but yeah, ate some donuts. That's some creative marketing right there. I try my best. I try my best. What's that old cartoon about the Canadian Ranger? Oh, you probably mean like Dudley Do-Right of the RCMP. So the RCMP here is kind of like, oh, what's their equivalent? They're not like state troopers because we have provincial police. I guess they're kind of like the FBI, I guess, right? They're kind of like federal police officers, right? That's what the RCMP is. Right? We need a close up of those donuts. You're gonna have to wait for my review to get any closer to those donuts. All right? No spoilers. Dudley Do Right. That's right. You're doing great, Knight. Thanks. So anyway, back to the topic of travel. I was asked, can I share some tips for capturing compelling footage while I'm traveling? And another question that's kind of like that is how do I balance authenticity and entertainment in my content? So here's the thing: when I'm traveling, I mean, it's hard enough to travel with kids, right? Those of us here who have kids, we know like it's hard to travel with kids as it is. And the tack that I took is I just pick up the phone, right? I use my phone for most of my filming, and I just film what's going on, right? I take some moments, I film. I do try to set up some shots, especially now that we're doing the channel. I try really hard to actually, you know, think about the shots that I want to get and such like that. But otherwise, I let the kids explore. I kind of let us like kind of let what's going to happen, so that we have, you know, we have a opportunity to explore a place as a family, to enjoy the thing as a family, to kind of grow and bond as a family. Even though we're doing this channel and we know that we're going to, you know, we want to get footage so that we can put it up and we can share it with you all. But the whole point of traveling, the whole point of doing it is so that you can grow as a person, grow as a family, grow as an individual, you know, and learn something new about a place. You know, when we went a little bit ago to West Edmonton Mall, even that was a matter of, you know, okay, we're going to film some of this, and I had to think about what shot am I going to get for when we're on the ride, right? And you know, I had to think about where I'm going to put where am I going to put the camera and where I'm going to put that. But then once the thing is rolling, then it's just about enjoying it with the kids and having the fun. When we went on the mouse roller coaster, you know, it was about, you know, just remembering that, you know, filming is only part of it. And if I don't get all the greatest shots, that's not the most important thing out of traveling. yes, we have a channel. Yes, we want to get big. Yes, we want to get monetized. Yes, we want to, be famous and all that kind of stuff, especially Sarah. But we also want to have family time. And that's one of the reasons I actually started the channel and really pushed on it, because I don't have my kids all the time, right? Right now I have them 1 week, right? And my former partner has them 2 weeks, right? So I don't have a lot of time, right? I have a weekend and the rest of that is school. So, having that time with them when we're intentionally going out, we're getting away from the phones, we're getting away from the computers and the other screens, we're getting away from the which friend did that or texted this, or, what chore has to be done or whatever not. Definitely, having that time. And yeah, we get we pick up the cameras, we pick up the phones, we do all that kind of stuff. That's important too. But it's way more important to actually have that family time and enjoy the travel and enjoy the place and enjoy the beauty of the world that we live in. So I hope that answers that question. There you go, 6 people in my first live. Woot woot. I'm really happy to see you guys in, and I am just so thankful for you guys. Like I said, you guys make it, definitely make it easier. That would be U.S. Marshals. Okay, you guys got Marshals. Okay, cool. Nikki, that review must be bad because I only saw 1 bite take. Don't worry, I took more bites, but I filmed it and I brought the donuts back so that while I'm working, I could enjoy some. So, but like I said, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you anything more about them. So, not telling you whether it's good. I'm not telling you whether it's bad. You're not getting spoilers on that one on me. So you're not getting it. Proud of you. You have way more than my first live. I think it was just my wife and I. Well, I am lucky. I did see that my girlfriend was in there. I do have a girlfriend who lives in Ghana, and she was in here at some point in time. She did say a quick hello at the beginning. So, if you are there, let's see. Curtis, we would have all been in there. That's true. If we'd known you, Curtis, if we'd known you, we would have been in there. And at least your wife supports you. You know what? Having the support of a good partner is the world, for sure. I was just about to ask what inspired the channel. Yeah, like I was saying, I wanted to be intentional about doing something with my kids every time that they're with me. And I mean, not to go too far into it because it's a whole other conversation, but soon I'm going to be getting to the point where I'm actually getting my kids equal time, right? But I still want to be, that's just going to be more content for the channel, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be as intentional about getting out there and enjoying the world and bringing that to you guys, right? So I started the channel because I wanted to be basically having the channel made me have to go out and do things with the kids. And it's not like it was a big challenge or a big onerous thing on me to go out and do things with the kids. But, it really gave us an excuse to say, nope, we're going to put the phones away. We're going to go and actually do something because our time is short and our time is precious. For sure. It's a lot of work traveling and shooting. Yeah, it is, right? And it's just a matter of, thinking about, enjoying the time with your family, with your kids, and just also remembering to pull out the camera and get what you need. I'm learning about it every day. Ghana was a learning experience. And I mean, I didn't put a lot of thought into Ghana, to be perfectly honest. I just, I was just following with the camera. Right. And that's why you don't see as much of me in my early videos, because I'm always behind the camera, just kind of filming what's going on. Now I'm trying to get more intentional about making sure that, Isaac or somebody, also grabs the camera so that you can see me enjoying and doing what we're doing as well. All right. But you answered. You got me. How do you select your next destination? Well, like I was saying, with the stuff that's close to home, sometimes it's just as simple as, pointing at a map and just going, that one, right? That's where we're going. We went, we did our adventure just recently, and it's going to be in next week's. It'll be out next week, most likely. We went to Writing on Stone Provincial Park, and it was just a random place. I was looking at a map. I was searching on Google for cool places to visit. It came up, and I just said, okay, let's go. Right. Next time the kids are back, Sarah said she wants to go north because Writing on Stone was south. So we're going to go north. Right. And it's, sometimes it's that simple. When it's further away, like I said, it's a matter of, what are the places that we really, really want to go? And we've got a large list, so it's going to be a matter of narrowing it down. And of course, what the budget is, right? Because we can't just go anywhere, everywhere, all the time, right? We don't have the budget for that, for sure. Speaking of budgets, I do have a Patreon, so I would love to encourage you guys to join that. It's patreon.com/MNTV family, and you'll get lots of behind the scenes stuff, exclusive access to us. The kids were talking about doing, exclusive live streams with them. You'll notice they are not here and they are not on the live stream, and they probably won't ever be on a public live stream, but we may do some exclusive private live streams. Obviously, with the way the internet is and the world is, I'm not putting the young kids up on a public live stream like that, but I can because I'm an adult. Woot woot. Yeah, you guys, I'm so thankful for you guys for being here. What is your dream destination to go on a solo trip? Oh, that is a good question, Alicia. That is a good question. Um, I love cruises. Those are a lot of fun. The thing I like about cruises, you get to visit a couple of places and you're on like a floating city, so you get to meet new people and such like that. If I could go by myself to a particular destination, where would I go? I think probably somewhere, like I was thinking somewhere warm, to be honest, but I'm actually thinking somewhere in Europe. I would actually prefer to go, like maybe Greece or I mean, Italy's cool, but it's pretty touristy. Greece is pretty touristy too, but that's okay. But somewhere where I can explore, right? Somewhere that's got a lot of history. And that's the thing about going to Europe. Europe has eons of history. Like people have been, going through those places for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of years, right? Which is really really cool. So I would probably choose somewhere in Europe to go to. I think that's where I would go. Somewhere in Europe. Maybe just do a kind of Europe trip. The nice thing about Europe as well is it's very compact. So you can be in Italy one day and you can shoot over to Greece the next, and you could, shoot up to Germany, Netherlands and all those places. You could be there, you can be in a lot of those places, and you can go a lot of places within Europe within, just a couple of days, one day train ride and you're there. So I think that's probably what I would do if I was going to do a solo trip, a proper solo trip. I think that's what I would do is, I just explore some of Europe. Other than that, I haven't been to Australia, and that is definitely another place that I would love to go. Especially if while I'm there, they could do me the kindness of not having all the animals there that want to kill me, right? Because I'm not really great with bugs and snakes and such like that, and even less so when, one bite and you're probably dead. But I'd still really like to go. I'd definitely love to go to Australia. So that's probably, those are probably the two places for sure. What else have we got? Maybe if you all wear a GoPro, maybe you'd be in the shots a bit more. That's true. But GoPros have their own kind of problem, right? When you're wearing a GoPro, like if you have it on your head, then every time you move, you don't get stable shots, right? So if you want good stable shots, you need to have a proper camera with a tripod or something like that. right? I actually tried to do, I tried to have the GoPro when we did the go-karting, and it didn't work out very well. I couldn't use any of those shots because I put a chest mount on, but then the cars were sitting right where the chest mount was. So all you got was mostly the dashboard of the of the go-karts. But if you put it on the head, then every time you look around, I mean, you get vertigo just watching it. So I don't know. GoPros also have their problems. I think cameras, having a proper camera or using your phone camera gives you an element of stability in your shots that I think is important, right? That's one of the reasons why when you watch a movie, they don't use GoPros for movies, right? They think about a shot, they set it up, and even when it's moving, it's stable. Where are we? What can we look forward to as a Patreon member? Well, definitely behind the scenes with us. And this is something that I'm working on too. So the Patreon is super, super new. So this is something that I am working on. And that's why we only have one level, which is the $5 level, because I mean, this was just under $5. So it's, it's pretty cheap, and we're going to be working on more things. But right now, we're going to be adding a lot of the behind the scenes, a lot of the things that don't make it into videos, a lot of the bloopers and stuff like that. And with 3 kids that are of the age that they like watching YouTube, all they're thinking about is, how can we do a blooper? And I have to remind them sometimes that bloopers aren't something you do intentionally. So you're going to get, you'll definitely get some of that. Like I said, we're probably going to set up some live streams that are private just to Patreon members with the kids, where they can answer questions from their own perspective on the travels that we do, especially going forward. And one of the things that we're thinking about too for, is to start when we do travel a little further abroad, maybe not within the Alberta stuff, but when we do travel abroad, when we do our road trips in the summer that we're kind of planning, is when we pick up we'll pick up trinkets for our Patreon members as well. So you'll actually get a little piece of our travels. So those are some of the things that you can look forward to as a Patreon member, with more to come for sure. Do you remember your first Patreon subscriber? Yes, I do, because I'm talking to her, Nikki, my first Patreon subscriber, who I love and I'm thankful for. And thank you for showing up. You're the best. Does Europe have a lot of Black history? I don't know. I think that Europe probably has more Black history than we know about. But I mean, this is the thing with Black history. And, here's the, from my heart thing, I guess, is we're just getting to the point in North America where we're really digging into what Black history is, and seeing that Black history is bigger than we have been taught. And I think there's probably a lot more to Black history in Europe than we know. Right. And I'm sure there's a lot more. I mean, for instance, slaves didn't just come to North America, right? The slave industry was worldwide, right? They were taking slaves out of Africa, and there were slaves that went to the United Kingdom, right? And it wasn't until, maybe the 16 or 1700s where they said, a man is a free man. So there has to be Black history there, and I'm sure there is, right? And it's just, for us Black people to start uncovering our own history and learning something about ourselves and digging into it, because it's there, right? It's there, and it has to be there, right? I wouldn't believe anybody who says that, oh no, Europe doesn't have any Black history. Of course it does, right? Of course it does, right? I would defy anybody to say that there's no Black history in Europe. I'm sure there is, right? Not all the animals. What advice do you have for aspiring travel content creators? Well, I am an aspiring travel content creator, so I think any advice I would be giving, I'd be giving to myself too. And I think the main thing is, travel as much as you can. But like some wise people in a recent chat that I have joined have reminded me, travel doesn't always mean that you are leaving the borders of your state or your province or your country or your continent. Sometimes travel just means going up the street and showing something different or looking at a different perspective than we would normally have. And the thing with a travel site is that when you are showing it, you're showing it with in mind that people who are not from where you are or not from where you are going are watching. So I am a Canadian travel, content creator, and sometimes I have to remember too that yes, I see it as going up the street to a Tim Hortons. You see it as what the heck is in that weird red cup. It's really good, by the way. Like, I'm pretty sure Tim Hortons puts crack in their drinks because most people in Canada are absolutely addicted to it, 100%. Let's see. How do you handle negative feedback or criticism? I don't handle negative criticism or feedback. Those people can go and shove it. Kidding. Do you know what? This is the thing. I'm not perfect, right? And nobody that I know is perfect. And as long as that negative feedback or criticism is delivered in a way that is respectful, then, it's all good. I know that I'm not a perfect person, and that's okay. Would you plan a group trip? You seem to be really good at planning trips. So, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, we will be, oh, by the way, this is breaking news. Nobody has heard this yet, except for the 6 or 7 of you guys that are here. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we are going to put together a group trip. So that is in the plans. So you guys all got to share this site and get it out there, and then we're going to plan a group trip together so we can all get together and we can do something cool. But the answer to that is yes. How do you stay safe while traveling? You know what? Staying safe while traveling is not as hard as it seems. It just takes a bit of common sense, right? Number one, you have to know what the situation is where you are, where you're going, right? If you're going to, say, Guatemala, or you're going to Colombia or something like that, you got to know that there are certain risks that you are going to be taking up. And that means that there are certain places that you should go and there are certain places that you shouldn't go, right? And just doing common sense things. Don't travel alone, right? Keep your, don't have your fancy Gucci purse, when you're going into Midtown, Colombia or something like that, right? Keep your stuff close to you. Don't, travel with your passport on you when you are out of the country. Make sure you leave that in your hotel safe or something like that. Always have a copy of your passport as well that are in 2 different places, right? Making sure that depending on where you're going, you're registered with your embassy. So if you're going to places that are outside of your country, right, especially if there are places that do have a reputation for being less than 100% safe, you can actually register with your embassy, and you can let them know when you're coming into the country and when you're leaving the country, so that if you do need assistance, they can actually render that. There are some places that you have to know that if you're going there, you won't have, like consular services or stuff like that. And in that, you're going to have to think about whether you want to go there, right? Like, for instance, if you are going to go to a certain Eastern European large country right now, you have to know that there wouldn't be any consular services for you. So, those are things that you have to think about. But common sense, right? Common sense. Stay in groups. Don't travel alone. Make sure that your documents are not in a situation where they can be stolen or taken from you or stuff like that. Don't go to places that seem like, if you're in a place and you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach, like maybe I shouldn't go here, don't go there, right? It's really that simple. most places that you're going to go as a tourist have touristy type of areas. And I'm not saying that you have to, if you go to if you're going to Jamaica, let's say, that you have to stay at your 5-star hotel and don't ever leave or anything like that, because exploring is some of the best parts about traveling, but you got to do it in a safe manner and do it in a way that makes sense. Right? If you're going to go and explore and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to catch a cab, and that cab driver gives you the willies, there is nothing that stops you from saying, you know what, I am not going to get into your cab, call another one. Right? A lot of the hotels that you're at actually have cab companies and stuff like that they trust, that they can get you in touch with, that they can get, so that you don't have to be in situations like that. So that's what I would say about that. See, European history is Black history, my sister. The Moors conquered Spain and took over until about 1492, believe. Look at Curtis York bringing up the history. Yes, that's right. Vladimir Putin opened up an ancient Russian box, and it has a picture of Black Jesus. Oh, that sounds about right. Thank you, Curtis. That Black Jesus box was just this week, by the way. Did not know that. The Black Madonna and Child too. Yeah. And this is the thing. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm going to put my pastor hat on for just a second. Think about this. Jesus was not white. He wasn't white. He could not have been white. Jesus was Middle Eastern. The dude was brown, okay? Let's stop with this whole pictures of Jesus as a white guy with brown hair and long flowing locks. It did not happen. It could not have happened. He was Middle Eastern. All right, taking my pastor hat back off. I'm done with that one. I'm enjoying you here. Thanks, babe. See, having the support of a good woman. Am I right, Curtis? What impact do you hope your channel has on your audience? Simple. I want to encourage you all to get out there and travel. Like I said at the beginning, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it at the end. Get out, right? Get out. And you know what? As a society in general, we used to be out all the time, and we've just gotten more ingrown and more ingrown and more ingrown. People don't get out. People don't travel. Right? I mean, America was built on roads and going on the Great American Road Trip and all that kind of stuff, and we don't do it anymore. So if I can encourage anybody to do anything, it's to travel, see the world, get a perspective that didn't come from Fox News or CNN. All right? That's what I would say. Get out there, learn something new from a person that you just met. I mean, when we were in Las Vegas, I did a small interview with a very nice lady who was very into a certain former president. And I never thought that I would have anything in common with somebody like that, but she was pleasant and we had a nice conversation and it was great. And I learned something new, right? Right? And that's what traveling is all about. How would you describe fatherhood? Oh, Curtis. That's a whole nother live stream. But you know what? Fatherhood is this: doing what you got to do to make sure that your progeny, the people, the little beings that have come out of you, grow up to be the best that you can help them to be, right? And I mean, fatherhood doesn't mean that, you're always giving piggybacks and swing rides. Sometimes it means you're giving lectures and discipline, right? And this is being a parent, right? This is being a parent, not even just being a father, but it's being a parent, right? And it's important because, especially being Black men like we are, Curtis, the world has a certain view of us. Let's be straight honest about it, right? The world has a certain view of the Black father, and we got to work to change it, right? We got to work to change it. 100%. We got to work to change it, because we're not just the deadbeat dads. We're not just the, baby daddies and whatever not, right? So being a father means being there for your kids, making sure, doing what you can do and what you have to do to help them to grow up to be good contributing members of society, right? That's what it is. Right? Do you find it challenging raising biracial children? Have you encountered any issues related to that yet? If so, how did you overcome them? Dude, I live in Canada. Race isn't an issue here. Joking. But you know what? Honestly, in Canada, we haven't had any issues with that. I mean, we are in a very, predominantly white area of the country, right? Not gonna lie about that. Alberta, they call Alberta Little Texas, so that should give you all the context you need about that. But you know what? The only time we've had any issue with the children being biracial was when Isaac was young. I was working for an oil and gas company, so they had me go down to Houston to do to be a trainer for one of the programs that they had. So I was doing that, and I brought my wife at the time, and Isaac was about 2 years old or so. And we were in Houston. We decided to go to the zoo, and we decided we were close enough. We were going to walk from our hotel. And the looks that we got as me, the black guy, and her, the white woman, and our biracial child. And one woman actually literally said, "How could you do that to your children?" Not even under her breath. Like, she wasn't even trying to hide it. Like, at least in Canada, people won't say racist things right to your face. But there, she was literally like, "Oh, how could they do that to their child?" I was like, "Do what? Birth him into the world? Like, what are you talking about?" And she literally meant, how could a white woman and a black guy hook up? So that was literally the only time. We ignored her and went on and enjoyed our time, right? So it's not as big of a deal up here, and I'm thankful for it. I am thankful to God Almighty that we don't have those big issues as much as you guys do in the South. I'm so thankful for it, for sure. Right? I thought this was about travel. Yeah, Curtis, I thought this was about travel. Get on topic, man. What's your craziest travel story? Okay, let me tell you about a time. So when I was about 20, I was in Bible college, just finishing, and I was going to do a trip around the world. So I was starting in Thailand and Cambodia. I was working at an orphanage there, and then I was actually going to go around to Ghana, Africa. And I was going to be a youth pastor at a church there for 6 months. Long story short, I ended up getting sick and coming back, but the night market is there. So we were up in Chiang Rai in Thailand, which is up north, and in a lot of Asia, the night markets are the thing. So, oh no, do you know what? I'm going to tell you a different one because it's actually slightly crazier. So I was actually down south. So this is what I was on. I was actually with a bunch of other Bible college students. So we were down south. We were in Phuket, right? Phuket. Phuket. No, Phuket. And I didn't have swim trunks. So we were at the beach. I didn't have swim trunks, needed to get some swim trunks. So I went into, and I was 20 something, okay? So I was 20 something. So I went into this store, they're selling swim trunks, and there was this lovely Thai girl, like thin, the face, the long hair, like the everything, okay? The everything. And so I was looking, she was giving me the eye, I was giving her a little bit of an eye back. And so I finally find the trunks that I want. And so their currency there is called the baht, 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 right? So, I went up to her and I'm like, "How much for these swing trunks?" And she turns around, she looks at me and she says, 350 baht. It's gross. So I think that's probably one of the crazier things that's happened to me. I learned that day that transgendered is a thing. So I was pretty sheltered up until then, not after that. That being said, after that, it was actually a lot of fun. We'd actually take missionaries to the night markets and play who's the guy and who isn't. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, that's one of the crazier ones. Have you encountered any dangerous experiences in another country? Nope. Because I try very hard to have as much common sense as I can when I travel, and I don't put myself into situations. I don't put the people that I'm into situations where we have to think, is this safe? Because quite frankly, I want to go home after a trip. So I work very hard and it's not that I just stay in the touristy areas or anything like that. when I'm in places, I like to explore and I like to get away from the beaten path and um, away from where the tourists are and such like that. But I also tend to do it safely. And if you get that, like I said, if you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach, like, maybe I shouldn't, I don't, right? I'm 43, man. I'm risk adverse, right? I have no need to get into those wild situations, I went to this night party in this place and man, I didn't know if I was going to get out alive. Don't need that anymore. Nope, 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 nope. Have you ever had anything stolen while on vacation? Nope. No, I do not think I have. I've had plenty of luggage that didn't show up and we had to find it and such like that, but I don't think I've had anything overtly stolen. And again, it's because of being safe, being wise with what you've got, right? When I'm traveling, I don't use a wallet when I travel. For instance, I always use like a fanny pack or something that I can keep close to my body, right? And I always it's either in front of me or it's like right under my arm or something like that, so that my arm constantly has to brush by it. Nothing is ever behind me. Nothing is ever too low that I can't physically touch it on each stroke of the arm or stuff like that, right? My important stuff, if I'm in the hotel, it's in the hotel safe, right? You just got to be safe. You just got to be safe, right? And you can. It's very, very, it's not hard to be safe when you are traveling. You just have to think about it. Right. And yeah, you're there to party a little bit. You're there to relax and all that other stuff. But just a little bit of thinking will save you a lot of heartache in the end, for sure. Right. I'm not religious or spiritual. Neither am I. But still, Jesus was not white. Okay. Right. No, he had nappy hair. That's right. He had nappy hair. That's 100% true. It was an ask me anything. Ask me anything about travel, Curtis, man. You got to read the whole thing. I got you, Curtis. Mike, what was the first trip you went on with your family as a kid? Ghana, Africa. That was when I was 5, man. I remember being a little kid and chasing the goats and such like that. If my dad was here, oh, he would tell you stories, right? One day I remember my dad's compound in his where my grandmother lives. They've got a compound, so they've got goats, they've got chickens on there and stuff like that. I used to chase the chicken and I'd catch it and I'd bring them into the house by the hair. My grandma get those things out of the house. I remember too, my very first trip, we flew from, I don't know why I remember, this is the thing about travel. Travel forms your core, it will form your core memories in your life. The first time you get on a plane, the first time you smell and get the sights and sounds of a new place, they will form your core memories. And I remember 5 years old getting on this metal tin ass plane. Couldn't have been more than this big. 2 aisles, prop planes, wasn't even painted, flying from Calgary to Winnipeg and then onwards for our trips, back in the 80s. And it was something else. And I just, I remember it so clearly and so vivid. I don't even know why I remember, what plane I got on, right, back in, 86 or something like that. It was nuts. But yeah, that was my first trip, Ghana, Africa. I think soon after that, my mom took me to Jamaica, where she is from. So she lives in a place called Windsor Forest, which is somewhere down, like on one of the ends of Jamaica, right? So yeah, that was the first trip, right? I done flew off the handle. Yeah, you did, Curtis, man. The Yorktown is a crazy town. By the way, if you're watching this and you have not subscribed to Curtis York, go find him right now. Curtis, drop your link. Go find him right now and subscribe. Okay, moving on. Hey, you did, Curtis. Ignore my next question too. What was the longest flight I've ever taken? 10 hours from here. Was it from here? No, from Vancouver to Hong Kong. I think it was 10, 11, 12 hours, somewhere thereabouts. It was forever. It was literally forever. It was the longest, long, and I don't recommend long flights for anybody. I mean, if you're going to go cool places, you're going to get onto long flights and stuff like that. It's just the way it's going to be. But when you're in a metal tube at 40,000 feet, right? It's long, right? I mean, how many movies is 10 hours, right? Without, getting up and going for a walk or stretching too much. Because, of course, every time you need to go to the bathroom, you got to go over other people and all that kind of stuff, right? And I mean, it wasn't a horrible experience, but it's long. It was long, 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 long. We know Pokies and Tackwins. I don't even know what that means. Curtis, I'm guessing that I'm not black enough to know that. Is that it? Like, am I too white to know what you mean here? Is that what's going on? Have you ever been to Texas? Yeah, I've been to Texas. I have been to Dallas and I have been to Houston. And in both places, I think they are 98% crazy. Oh, been to Galveston too on my way for a cruise. Did a cruise out of there as well. So yeah. Well, yes, you've been to Houston lots. Ironic, the craziest experience here was here in America. Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. See y'all. He made it travel related. That's what I do. All about the travel. Right. How has traveling affected my religious relief? Dude, you are deep today. You are deep. So when so like I was telling you, one of the things I did, just like it was my last year of Bible college. In fact, I was supposed to do part of my studies in Thailand, Cambodia, and then go around to Ghana. I never got there. I actually ended up getting sick in Thailand. They never actually figured out what it was. And I came back, and it was one of the most discouraging, disheartening things that ever happened to me. And one of the things I learned there, I was in Thailand and I was alone, and I had to go to the hospital. And when I went to the hospital, I had to go there alone. And one of the things that I decided from that day on is, as far as I could help it, if there was anybody that I knew who had to go to the hospital, and they had to be alone, that I was going to go with them. And what it did is it opened my eyes to the needs of other people, right? And that's what Christianity is about. Christianity is about others, right? That's why the two main commandments, if you read the New Testament, are love God and love your neighbor, right? It doesn't say love yourself. I mean, it does say love your neighbor as you love yourself, but the outcropping there is, if you love yourself, you should be loving your neighbor. It's about other people, right? And it really reminded me of that, sitting in, hospital rooms in Thailand, not knowing what was going on with doctors that barely speak English, right? That Christianity is about the other, right? So I would say that was probably my biggest thing, my biggest takeaway. And, I've really tried to live my Christianity even now, as this is not just about me. It's about the others. It's about other people, right? Ain't she lady in this chat? She is, but she's not a chatty like the rest of us are. That's hilarious. I knew it was going to be. Oh, see, there she is. Right there she is. I love to travel everywhere too, and she's going to travel a lot soon. Whew! Just wait. What's your favorite airline? KLM. Love KLM. KLM is an awesome, awesome airline. I wish I could be sponsored by KLM. Their service is really good. I find it has slipped, but I think most airlines have slipped in their service levels in the past couple of years, to be honest. But I do love me some KLM. And let's be honest, those blue planes are sexy. They are some sexy ass looking planes, not gonna lie. Second to that, oddly enough, Kenya Airways, really good. Like really good. Like surprisingly good. Cathay Pacific is really good. Bottom of my list is anything from Canada and anything from the United States. Way bottom of the list. Way. It's like all of the other airlines, then the North American airlines. Way down there. Lord, if you put your dad on live, it needs to be on the Patreon. Yes. Yes. Especially because then I don't have to worry about him saying something that's going to make sure I'm demonetized forever. How do you approach food when exploring different cultures? This is my rule when I travel. I will try anything once. And it has led me to putting some very interesting things within my body, many of them which I would not do again. But my rule is I will always try anything once. If I am, and I always try my best to eat whatever is given to me. So if I'm like when I was in Thailand, Cambodia, obviously I was in an orphanage, so I didn't really have a choice to say, actually, no, I don't eat that, because if I said that, then I probably wouldn't eat. When I was sick, I mean, I was basically down to like rice and fried eggs, and that was it. But I have tried some interesting things along my travels. Um, I have had all sorts of things that have come from the sea. Obviously, I've had pig's brain stew that was in Thailand. I didn't ask first, I asked after, and I regret it. When I was in Ghana, not this time, but when I was younger, we had a feast of some sort. I don't remember what the occasion of the feast was, but we had killed a goat, and the next day, my dad was eating some sort of meat from the day before, and I came and I sat down with him at breakfast. I don't know why he was eating meat at breakfast, but that was his thing. And I was like, "Oh, what are you eating?" And he just gave me some. And because I have that rule about, I'll try anything once. And this is the thing. If you are going to try anything once, don't ask what it is before you put it into your mouth. In fact, don't ask what it is until you've swallowed, because I put it into my mouth and I started eating and it was a little bit chewy. And before I had swallowed, I asked my dad what it was. Well, he was eating the goat's testicles. Do you use points and miles for my travel? As far as I can, yes, I do. And I have literally every points program that is around there, so that no matter what I'm flying or where I'm going, I can try and take advantage of the points. Because I'm also usually trying to find the best deal, that means that I'm not always flying, I'm not always trying to fly on the same airline or stay at the same hotel no matter where I go, which means I have, relatively small-ish balances in a lot of different places, which is probably something that I can change, and do better with, and being a little bit more intentional about where I'm staying and how I'm collecting points. But yeah, that's me. It hasn't been the most important thing, because a lot of the places that I've gone just, they don't always have the hotels, for instance, that have big fat points programs or stuff like that. But I do definitely try to, like my Flying Blue points are up there, for KLM, and I do have, the points for the Canadian Airlines and stuff like that. So I do that as well. All right, I just asked him to get you to talk, and he went way deep, way deep. Curtis is feeling deep. He's been so quiet this week, and then suddenly just the deep, like right into the ocean. Right? Can't help it. That's true. All right. I'm really engaged and invested. Yes, you are, and I appreciate it. Curtis, I appreciate you, man. I really do. Really do. Y'all got me thinking. Y'all don't sit down your adult hats. Nope. I said, let's have a live party first thing. Somebody said, what's the topic? Well, this has become a party, hasn't it? Travel party? Yes, ma'am, sign me up. I'm like, bruh. Nikki said, I want the live to be fun and don't want to talk about parenting. We immediately got Mike talking about parenting. Yeah, you did. But you know what? This is the thing with me right now. Travel and parenting, they are like this, because I want my kids I want them to grab that travel bug. I want them to learn that the world is an amazing place and they need to get out into it. I want them to want to see the world and what's out there. I want them to have, different experiences and different points of view. Right? Especially in North America, we get so wrapped up into what's happening and which president said what or did what, or up here we have our prime minister who said what and did what, and we forget that it doesn't matter, right? Yeah, it's important, but it doesn't matter, right? What matters is living our best individual lives. What matters is opening our minds and seeing what's out there. The world is bigger than whether it's Trump or Biden. The world is bigger than whether it's Trudeau or Poilievre. Those are our two guys up here. The world is bigger than your city or your state or your province or even your country, right? The world is way bigger than that, right? And these petty things that we just get so ingrown on, they're not important. They're important, but they're not important, right? Right? It's like we can have some fun in life. Yes, yes, absolutely. That's why I love small YouTubers. You can really get to know them and relate to them. Yeah, that is true. That is true, Curtis, 100%. Y'all gonna have to give me a list of topics I can't talk about. Curtis, one day, you and me, we're gonna do like a Black Father's live stream. All right, that'll be our thing. Now, Curtis, we know you spend 24 hours talking about one pair of kicks. Mm-hmm. That's right. But you know what? I have been learning some new stuff about kicks, so I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it. I'm not mad at it. Have I ran into any celebrities? Not that I can think of. No, no. I used to be a photographer, and honestly, I've run into more famous people doing that than than with the actual travel. But most of them are like local celebrities and stuff like that that you probably wouldn't even know here. Not until you swallowed. I'm not gonna ask. I obviously missed something. You moved right on after the goat. Look, it scarred me. Okay, it scarred me. Right? My life, my lives used to be all over the place and very personal. That's probably why I stopped. We talked about so much more than shoes. That's true. That's true. He talked those lies. He got deep into some things, but that's cool, right? That's cool because that's what life is, right? What's your preference, hotel or Airbnb? Oh, you know what? When I was younger, right? Airbnb. Oh, you get into the meat of a place, right? And you're just right there in the midst of a city and right in the middle of, all the vibe and all that kind of happens. Now that I'm older, give me a hotel. Give me a hotel with some room service. Give me somebody who's changing my bed whenever I want it. Oh, Lord, give me a hotel. I'm too old for the whole Airbnb and running around and figuring out where this place is and tending to yourself. Nope, give me a hotel now. Maybe that's my old age speaking, but give me a hotel, right? Don't forget to hit that like button. Yes, do not forget to hit that like button. If you're new here, if you're watching this in the replay or something like that, definitely do subscribe as well. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/MNTV, and become part of the MNTV family. All right, Mike, I have to go. Great live. Keep traveling. Yes, girl, we will talk soon for sure. I can't wait to see your next vlog as well. See ya. I love hotels more. Yes, give me a hotel. I just room service, all that kind of stuff. I'm all for it nowadays. Hotels all day. Yes, yes, yes. It's crazy because I used to be the same way, but please, please hotel me. Yes, that is 100% true. Let's see. How do I stay motivated and creative with your content over time? Well, I don't know. I still feel like I'm new at this, to be perfectly honest. Right? There's so much, and I mean, travel. This is the thing. Travel is easy because there's just another place to go. There's another place to plan to go. There's another gadget for your luggage or thing that you can do or whatever not. So I don't know that I'll run out of ideas anytime soon. It's more the real hard part is staying true to that in the channel, right? Because it's so easy to kind of get off this way or get off that way, and pretty soon you're going to be seeing the get ready with me, what's my skincare routine, or all that kind of stuff. And I mean, that's not to say that there isn't space for getting off brand a little bit. I mean, we did a spicy food challenge a little while ago and it was a lot of fun, but the core is, the core is travel, and the core, I want it to remain travel, because there is so much out there to see and experience and do. So, that's probably the hardest part. Isn't staying creative. The hardest part is staying true to what I'm doing and such like that. Yeah. Where are we? What do we got for hotels all the way? Crazy because it used to be the same way. Never ordered room service. Nikki, you never ordered room service? Oh, sometimes when you're out late and you're done, man, just having somebody show up with your food, it's the thing. It used to be fun, Nikki, but now it's so expensive. That's true. It is. That is true. I always wanted to sit in the robe and have them bring the silver thingy. Yes. Room service, and come in with the thing and hoping, your filet mignon, Madame Poindexter. DoorDash is the new room service. That's true, because you can get whatever you want and it's cheaper. All right, buy a silver thing and put it down for a DoorDash order. Do the kids want to go to the pool at every hotel? Like when we did Ghana, we weren't at hotels, so we were at family house and stuff like that. But my kids, anytime they see water, that's where they want to go. So, they begged. I mean, we had so much to do in Ghana. It took us till just about the last couple of days just to get out to the ocean. But they were every day, are we going to the ocean today? Are we going to the ocean today? Are we going to the ocean today? Definitely like that. Definitely. Oh, what was there? Was something else I was gonna answer, and now I've got a list. Oh, all right. Can I share upcoming projects or destinations that we're excited about? Yeah, I can. So this is where we're kind of going with the channel over the next little while. Is, we're gonna focus on just leaving the house and going somewhere. Just exploring the province that we're in, exploring the country that we're in. Canada's big, so we're going to be starting small and then kind of moving from there. And the weird thing is, it is literally cheaper for us to fly to Texas than it is to fly to Toronto on the other side of the country. But we're going to try that. We're going to try, getting just more around, see what there is in our own province. We're going to find the world's biggest fill in the blank, or, go to the Gopher Museum or something silly or stupid like that. In the summer, what I am trying to plan out is I want to do a couple of road trips. So I'll have the kids, I mean, it's 8 weeks of 8 weeks of summer break, and I'll have the kids in 2-week stints. So, I'll have them 2 weeks, and then I'll 2-week break, and then another 2 weeks. So what we're looking at doing is actually putting together 2 road trips. So one that will probably go like east and maybe north, right, and see a lot of the country that way. And then one that will go west through the mountains, probably down through Vancouver and maybe down into Washington, Alicia, and travel that way. So I'm actually going to be, in the next little while, I'm going to be seeing if I can get one of those RV rental companies. I'm really going to see if I can get one of them to sponsor us for this, because I think it'll be really cool. Me, the kids, the RV, and the open road, and just exploring Canada, exploring a bit of the States. That's kind of what I'm planning and hoping to do. We'll see if it comes together, but that's what I'm kind of hoping to do as far as projects and stuff like that. That's going to be this year. Next year, there might be Jamaica on the horizon if a few things come together. That would be, probably the next major trip. I know the kids really want to do, they want to do Japan. So, if I can, if we can put together the finances to do that. Did I mention we have a Patreon? If I can put together the finances to do that, we'll stick that in one summer as well. And then one of the things that I want to do just personally is get down into the Caribbean again and do a cruise. Up until up to now, I've wanted to get on the biggest cruise ship in the world, which is Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas. I fear that by the time I actually get on a cruise, there will be a new biggest ship, but whatever that biggest ship is, I want on it. That is basically how that works for me. So that's what we've got coming up on the horizon. What else? Where are we? Can you share any tips on budget conscious travelers? Yeah, like I was saying before, get on newsletters. There's so many travel sites out there that will, that have that are able to get you those kind of discount rates, or those, or things. Usually they're selling like the last minute tickets or the last minute packages or stuff like that. Those are sometimes great ways to save a buck or two, especially like for cruises, especially for you guys in the States, right? If you can get down to Florida or Texas, on, a shorter notice, you can get some really amazing deals on cruises as they try to sell out those last cabins that they haven't got. Obviously, having the points programs helps you as well. If you want to do the maximum with your points programs, then definitely keep going to the same type of hotels, or the same chain of hotels, and you're going to accrue your points faster, which is going to give you free stays and such like that, and all those benefits faster. As far as air travel goes, to keep it cheap, obviously we've got the new ultra low cost airlines and such like that. If saving money is the most important part, then you can go with those airlines. If you have, this is just me. If you're going to step on a metal tube and you're going to have to be there for a couple of hours, I rather be comfortable, right? I rather be on an airline where I can at least get a drink, right? Where I'm not afraid, that I'm going to be charged for absolutely everything. That's just me, right? That's the one place where I rather actually spend a little bit of, I rather spend a little bit of money. I can cheap out on a hotel a little bit more, because when you're on vacation, I mean, the whole point is to be outside of the hotel room as much as you can. But when you're flying there, that's a comfort thing for me. But if you're budget conscious, obviously there's those ultra low airlines. There's all those sites like Expedia and stuff like that, where you can sometimes get a pretty good travel deal and such like that. So you just like getting a good deal at the grocery store, you got to shop around, right? Don't just settle on one thing and say, well, that's the price that it is. Look at multiple sites, look at multiple airlines, look at multiple routings to get to the same place, right? If you can deal with doing more than one stopover or something like that, often you can get an even cheaper price. So those would be some of the things that you can definitely do to keep the cost down. If you're doing a road trip, obviously things like packing your own food, right? Rather than doing all the McDonald's and Chick-fil-A's. Is it Chick-fil-A or Chick-fil-A? I have no idea, because we don't have any up here, but you guys got to set me straight on that. But rather than doing all the restaurants and stuff like that, and don't get me wrong, I love a good IHOP, I love a good Denny's, I love a good, Texas Roadhouse, all those type of things. I love them. But if you're looking to save a little bit, especially if it's like a day trip or something like that, definitely pack your own meals. All right. What are some of the most underrated destinations? I think some of the most underrated destinations are the ones that are closer to you. People think travel, so they think I have to go far, I have to go big, I have to, go. But sometimes, how many places in your state or province or close by, have, the world's biggest potato, or the world's biggest boot, or, the world's biggest pumpkin, or all these silly things, the Gopher Museum or the Dinosaur Museum, or all those things. And we just, because we know they're there and we know they're close, we don't think it's travel, but it is, right? And they're great places to explore. One of my favorite places, and our kids' favorite places to go, and we usually do it every year, is to go over to Drumheller, which is just to the east of us, about an hour and a bit drive. And they've got a dinosaur museum there, right? It's actually a very famous dinosaur museum, because we got a lot of dinosaur bones and finds in our area here. And we go there and we go to the dinosaur museum, right? And then we check out the other things around the area, and we have a good time, right? That's almost a yearly thing, right? And it's super close. Right, so look for the things that are close to you, that you can enjoy too. It doesn't always have to be hours and hours away, or a plane ride away, or a boat ride away, or whatever. Not, doesn't always have to be. Right? Sometimes the close things, right, that you know that they're there, but you've never been to them, right? This summer, or, on a weekend, just take the time and go to that place, right? Woot woot, come to Washington. Yes, that is part of the plan. I definitely want to get cross border, and, depending on, how much time we have, to get down and see how far down into the States that we can go. So, maybe you can take us out to the Space Needle, something like that. That'd be really cool. All right. How do you handle language barriers while traveling to different cultures? Most people speak English, Nikki. Most people do. I have yet to be in a place where I absolutely could not find somebody who did not speak at least marginally enough English. Especially when you're going to a tourist place, those people, like, they don't hire them if they don't speak good enough English to cater to people, because they know that most of the people that are coming, especially if you're going to like the Caribbean or something like that, they know that people, they need people who speak English. Right? English is the international language right now. So, it's pretty rare to be in a place or being in a position where absolutely nobody speaks English. It doesn't happen that often anymore. What's the cheapest flight you ever purchased? See, this is the problem with Canada. Canada does not really have cheap flights. Now, I have seen on cheap O flights that, there are some one-way tickets on WestJet for like $57, but I think those are to like small towns that you wouldn't have gone to anyway. But 90% of the time when I'm buying a flight or whatever, not, they're usually in the couple $100. Like even when we went to Las Vegas, I think it cost us about $300 per ticket, right? It wasn't cheap. And that's just the nature of Canada. Canada is not cheap to travel in at all, unfortunately, right? What is your least favorite flight or airline? Least favorite airline, American Airlines, 100%, no questions asked. And it just comes down to one really bad experience that I had with them. It was back in my photography days, and I was actually going to be shooting a wedding in New York. And we went down there with the bride, and we flew from Calgary to Toronto. That was on WestJet. WestJet is great. They're amazing. Their service was awesome, right? The bride was there with their dress. They made sure that she and we had our camera equipment. We were loaded on first. They took her dress. They made sure it was on the plane. No problem. In Toronto, we're switching over to an American airline plane. Now, first of all, we were expecting to be flying in on like a 737 or something like that, some sort of Boeing jet. They decided that, I guess because there were a couple of fewer people, that they needed a different, smaller plane. So they transferred us all to a smaller plane than we were supposed to be, which meant that they didn't have enough space for everything. Then, bride with her dress and all that kind of stuff, and groom, and us with our camera equipment, right? After such a great experience with WestJet, they wouldn't let us board first. They wouldn't give us any special accommodations or anything like that. And we were on the last boarding group too, yo. And when it came, when they were getting up to our boarding group, they started saying, well, we don't have enough space on the plane. So if you got your carry-on, you've got to put it under the belly. Now you have to understand, again, bride with her dress. Do you think she wanted to put that thing under the belly of the plane? No, she did not. And us with our camera equipment, right? With my camera equipment, I had like 20 grand worth of camera equipment in me. And there was also no way I was putting that underneath a plane for a baggage handler to touch. And they were absolutely adamant. Nope, you're going to have to put your dress under the plane. We have no space for it, blah, blah, blah. Brides in tears. You know, we're pissed off because there's no way we're letting go of our bags and it's all going downhill. They had no pity, no sympathy, nothing. It took a guy in first class who heard the bride crying. Yeah, it was that much of a scene to say, do you know what? You take my stuff, put it under the plane, and make sure these guys get their stuff on the plane. That's how it ended up being. They wouldn't even go and ask. Like, they could have asked and just said, hey, you know what? We've got some stuff that really needs to get on here. Could somebody on the plane please give it? They wouldn't even entertain it, right? They would rather us not have got on the plane before that. And ever since then, I'm like, American Airlines, sorry, no. Right? Do you for flying or road trips? I like a good flight. I just like airplanes. One of the things I wanted to be when I was young was a pilot, so I love airplanes. Love airplanes. But you know what? I also love to drive. So this summer we're not going to be getting on airplanes. We're going to be getting on the road, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun too. I do like a good drive. So Chick-fil-A. Okay, Chick-fil-A. Okay, I gotcha. Chick-fil-A. I'm gonna have to remember that because apparently we're getting one in Calgary. So, that's gonna be cool. I'll have to do a review when they finally open up. Right? Love that place. I know. I've seen your vlogs, man. You loved your Chick-fil-A, and you have like the waffle fries with some sort of sauce or whatever. Not. See, I'm paying attention. Right now, I watch the things. Do I need a screenshot for that and put it in the group? Do you always eat out while traveling or sometimes get groceries and cook? Get groceries and cook. And that's one of the things that we're actually going to be doing over the next while too, is we're going to be talking a bit about how you can save costs by doing things like just packing lunches and snacks and such like that, right? Saving the money on the meal. And then that's not to say you can't do a meal, but I mean, if you're going to be driving especially, pack a lunch, do a stop somewhere, have that lunch, and save the meal for dinner time or something like that, right? Saving just one meal, I mean, for a family of 4 or a family of 5, right? You can be saving yourself $50 to $100 easy, right? Just by skipping, doing one meal at a restaurant. You can do sandwiches and some apples and some fruit and such like that, and you can be spending less than half the price to eat, right? So it doesn't have to be all one or all the other. Mix it up, just do a lunch, that you packed, and then do dinner out, right? Or something like that to have a treat. So it doesn't have to be one or the other, but you can definitely save some money by packing your own food or cooking your own food. If you've got a big enough vehicle, stick a barbecue in there, like one of those little, pocket hibachis or whatever they call them. Yeah, definitely. All right, Space Needle, Pike Place Market. The kids will love the gum wall. The gum wall? It's going to be an interesting summer. What travel apps do you use? My main app I use is TripIt for planning and such like that. That's probably my main app because you can put everything in there. You can share it out to family and such like that. And when you make updates, they get the updates too. So I definitely like that. Obviously, all the points places and such like that, I use their apps to keep track of them. Use my iPhone, have all their cards and such like that in my Apple Wallet. So I definitely do that as well. Kayak, Expedia, I use those a lot. There's one called Cheapo Air. Cheapo Air, obviously, they specialize in getting you those cheap ticket prices. So I've got their app for when I need to look for them. But yeah, those are probably the main apps that we use. I watch a black dude that's visiting Japan, and I've never seen them speak English. Oh yeah, they speak English. Trust me, they speak English. Now, there are some places where you'll go where they'll intentionally not speak English just to make you feel uncomfortable. but they speak English. I remember being in France with my dad, and we got into a taxi, and he's like, "Parlez-vous anglais?" And the cab driver's like, "No, no, I don't." And we're like, "Yeah, you do." But so there are some places that are like that, but they speak English, and you'll always be able to find somebody that speaks enough English to get you by, right? Some people got free Chick-fil-A for a year. How do you get Chick-fil-A for a year? Sign me up. I will go there and do that. Yeah. Oh, what games do you play with the kids on the road? You know what? On the road is one of the places where I do allow them to use their phones. Hear me out, okay? All the parents watching the replay, I know, are like, "Oh my God, let them use their phone and that screen time, blah, 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 blah." Hear me out. Number one, they can only use them for a limited amount of time. Between one of two things is going to happen. One, their batteries will run out, or B, will get out of cell phone coverage. And then they're stuck. So it's okay. They get limited time. But right, especially after a long drive, or when we're just getting into the road trip, and we're going through the city or whatever, not, it's fine to let them use their phone a little bit. After that, my kids are old enough that we can have conversations and we talk about things, and I'll point out things along the way. My eldest son especially, I get him to help navigate now, to point out where we are, help me to find certain things. So if we are going to stop for like a Timmy's or something like that on the way, I'll get them to look up on the maps to find where that is. So I get them to help out in that way, to kind of help get their sense of where they are and get that map sense, and that, that directional intelligence and all that kind of stuff. That's what we do. All right. So they play in him. Yeah, clearly. This is a great live, very fun and engagement. Thank you, Curtis. I really do appreciate it. How do you choose the music and soundscapes for my videos? I don't know, actually. I have not yet really tacked that down, right? And I mean, I've been watching other people's vlogs and such like that. And I mean, like, you watch like Curtis videos, he uses the same type of songs for every video. So you've kind of got like that theme song, type of vibe, right? It's always kind of the same and similar, feels kind of natural. What I've generally tried to do is I generally try to find music that fits what we're doing. So, if we're doing go-karting, then I, try and find something that's a little more rock or electronic-ish, that's got a driving beat or whatever not. If we're just doing a country drive, then I'll find something a little more country, right? If we're doing one of our reviews or something like that, then I'll, do something a little more easy listening. That's what I do right now, but can I tell you that that's the way I always will do things? No, I can't, but we'll see. That's the way I do it right now, though. I try to fit something that fits either the feel or the theme of what we're doing at the time, right? Thanks, Curtis. I really appreciate it. Right? What's the most delicious food you've tried while traveling? Most delicious food. Oh, that's a good question. I'm trying to think. When we were in Las Vegas, I had a cheesecake that was really good. I remember, what's the most delicious? When we were, this must have been 2012 or so, we were on a cruise, and the food was excellent on the cruise. When you're in the main dining room, oh, the food was excellent. Really, really excellent. I don't remember. I'm trying to think of what I had that just gave me that impression, but the food just in general was really, really, really good. It's the most delicious. Let me get back to you on that. I'm not sure what the most delicious one I've had, but I've had some really good food in traveling for sure. What app do I use for editing videos? I use Filmora Wondershare on my computer. So I'm not one of those phone editors. I get everything off onto my computer, onto my big fat screen, and I edit it on there. So I use Filmora. I used to use Adobe Premiere, but it's just expensive right now, right? Maybe I'll get Adobe to sponsor me. Oh, if only. Speaking of which, have I mentioned I have a Patreon? Patreon.com/MNTV family. um, but I use Filmora Wondershare right now. It's a great program, very easy drag and drop editor. It's got some really great features, and I'm kind of enjoying using it right now for sure. Right, and your gear, what do you use for recording video and audio? Well, I use my DJI microphone. That's what I'm using right now. It's one of these little guys right there. That's the microphone there. I've got two of them, and then it's got, you can't see it right here, but it's got a receiver on the other end that goes into my phone. I use my phone, my iPhone 14. I mean, it's got a 50 megapixel camera on it, so why not? I also have a GoPro type thing that's been really beaten up. Man, that has seen better days. Those are the main things I use. And then I have here, I'll even show it to you. Hold on 1 second, because it's right here. There we go. Then I've got the DJI, what do they call it? The Osmo Mobile, right? So it's a gimbal. So I open it up, phone goes here, and it actually will stabilize my phone on 3 axis. So when I'm walking, it's smoother, and I can get some of those smoother shots. And it'll go side to side and do all those kind of things. It's got the little tripod, goes up super tall too. So those are the main things that I use. I'm kind of hoping. Oh, and I have a dash cam on my car so that I can get those nice views of the driving. But yeah, those are the things that I mainly use right now. They've worked for now. I'm hoping to slowly get more equipment. I want to get some cameras, some proper cameras into my kids' hands as well, so they can give more from their point of view as well, and we can get more footage that way. But that's kind of what we use. Yeah, for sure. What's your top packing trip for travelers? Pack light. Every trip you go on, you are probably taking more than you need. So the biggest thing to do is just scale back, right? I mean, when we went to Las Vegas with my dad, when me and him went, he had one bag for the weekend, right? And he had like 5 pieces in there. There's a whole video about it with our packing, and it was crazy. He went with that and he was fine, right? I had a bag that was too big. Now, it wasn't because of the clothing. It was actually because of all the equipment and the charging and the laptop that I brought and all that kind of stuff. But scale back is probably the biggest thing, right? Worst comes to worst. If there's something that you are truly missing, you can probably get it wherever you're going, right? But you can probably stand to scale back. Most people take more than they need, and they don't use everything that they bring. So I would say the top thing, easiest thing you can do right off the bat is just look at what you're packing and decide, do I really need this? All right. Do you have any travel rituals or good luck charms that you take with you? I don't think so. All right. I don't think we have any travel rituals or anything like that that I can think of. I saw one family, I was watching their vlog, and every time they get on a plane, they tap the door of the plane as they get in, and I thought that was really cute. But no, we've never really done anything like that. Good luck charms or anything like that. No, not really. I'm not really, never been superstitious like that, I guess. Maybe I should think about it. One time I do it, and that's going to be the time a plane crashes. Do you already have your editing ideas planned out before going out on your adventures, or do you just edit as you go? I am trying so much more to be far more deliberate in how I shoot my videos nowadays, especially now that we've decided we're really going to try and make a go of this whole thing. I am trying to be a lot more deliberate on the shots that I take. I'm trying now that when we do something, if I think it's going to make a good shot, sometimes I'll just say, let's go back and do that again. And I'll put the camera down so that we can get a good stable shot of something. Or I'll get one of the kids to hold the camera so that I can be in the shots and such like that. So I'm definitely trying to be a lot more intentional on that kind of stuff. Not to make the blog less genuine, but just to show a different view and to kind of add a little bit to what we're doing so that it's visually appealing as we show what we're doing, right? Making sure that you get those big panoramic shots of where we are, you know, the big wide views, the close-up views, make sure that every kid especially is getting, you know, a little bit of time and all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional that way for sure. But I would say 90% of what I do is just shooting what's happening as it's happening for sure. All right, do you have a favorite travel companion for those who may be new to the channel? Well, my kids are my favorite travel companions for sure, but we also have a dog that I like to take out. He'll be actually tomorrow's blog that's coming out. He'll have a little bit more of a feature in there. I'm actually kind of surprised he hasn't come and bothered me yet, which probably means he's getting into trouble somewhere, and I'm probably going to find a mess in the house once I'm off this stream. All right, what's the most unexpected souvenir you ever brought back from a trip? Hold on. How's that for a suspense? This guy, I got him when I was 10. I'd like you guys to take a look at this. You're all adults now, and think about what this guy is and what he's doing for a 10-year-old to have. Just pointing it out. Got him in the Netherlands, so in Amsterdam. The red pole in Amsterdam with the XXX means that you're at the red light district. And clearly, this guy has a date that hasn't quite shown up yet from the red light district. 10. I was 10, and they let me get this. 10. Definitely one of the most unexpected ones that I still love and cherish. And it's a collector's item, too. Like, it's actually, like, collector's item. My parents have given me some very great travel experiences. 100 minutes in, congratulations. Oh lordy, look at that. Where's the time gone? We're probably going to try and wrap this up in about 10ish minutes or so we don't go too long. But I really thank you guys for coming in and going down this big long travel rabbit hole with me. Thank you. Need to head out, but I'll check back later, see if you're still on. All right, Alicia, see you later. Thanks for popping by. I really appreciate it. I want a gimbal. Do you know what? This thing is one of the best investments that I have ever made. Let me show you, because it's really like, it definitely gives you a better shot, right? When you're on your especially if you're using your phone. So this is just what holds the phone. I've got another one that actually uses the MagSafe on the phone, but you know, this will do for the sake of showing off. Oh, there we go. So you can shoot this way. You can shoot this way. It's got a joystick, so you can actually turn the camera however you need it, up and down, all of that kind of stuff as well. But the nice thing is, look, as I move, right, it keeps everything pretty stable. Like, I can do a lot of moving and get a pretty stable shot. So that's definitely one of the things that I like. I wish I'd had this in Ghana, and I wish I'd had the microphones in Ghana. A lot of our stuff would have been a ton better. like a ton better. The microphones in Ghana, a lot of our stuff would have been a ton better.
Oh,
like
cool.
A ton better. The microphones in Ghana, a lot of our.
What's happening?
There we go. I get to hear my own live stream. That was fun. So, hey, how's it going? Welcome, welcome, welcome. You've missed a lot. I mean, you missed parenting advice that Curtis got us into. Man, we went deep, girl. You have missed a lot. You have missed a lot. Been here almost 2 hours. Yes, we have, talking about travel and such like that. And we've actually been, I mean, other than Curtis, we've been mostly on track. So just saying. Oh, we're good tips on traveling. Thanks for the guides, though. Thanks, babe. Right. Oh, that's lit. Is that the Hohoam brand? No, this is DJI. So DJI is definitely more expensive, but they do this stuff good. DJI makes drones, actually. They make those quadcopters that you film with. That is what their bread and butter is. But because they've learned a lot from doing drones about stabilization and all that, they've branched out and doing other stabilization things. So that's definitely there. Hey, Naima, check it out. I told you I was going to be doing donuts. So, you know, not telling you where I got them from, though. My boy Curtis. That's right. That is right. My boy Curtis. All right. How long in advance do I plan my travels? Just depends on where I'm going. Really. Like our day trips that I do with the kids, like the 1-day road trips, sometimes we plan those the day before. It's just, you know, here we go, away we go. We just hit the road and go to find somewhere to go the day before and just say that's where we're going. Right? Oh, that looks good. I'm not giving out any secrets on how it tasted or anything like that. Just know that the donuts are there and they shall be reviewed. There we go. So you're hungry now? You should be. You should be hungry. So you got any questions for me? I know you're just popping in now, but I feel like I've answered like a million questions already. So I'm not sure what else I should be I'm not sure what else I should be answering. We've been at this for just shy of 2 hours now. The donut review. Let me tell you something. I'm not gonna lie. This is a big ass donut, and that's all I'm gonna tell you about it. That's all the review you're getting from me today. Gonna have to wait until the 15th. Then you can know more about donuts. All right. Man, I think I did it. I think I got through all the questions. Do I have anything more in my little list here that I made? Are you dating? So if you go up a little bit, you're gonna see that there's a MNTV chatting. That's my fiance in Ghana there. So she's my girl. So yeah, I am. Can't keep a good man down. Actually, I guess you can keep a good man down. We know you like it after that bite. That was barely a bite. We got 2 more in there. We got this bad boy here, right? Which is also you know, got to remind myself, right? Oh, Naeem, I introduced you guys to Tim Hortons as well. So you missed that. You've missed so much, girl. You've missed so much. Fiance, girlfriend, fiance. Yeah, that's what we call her. That's what we call her. That is what we call her. Latoya, hey, how's it going? Man, I'm gonna have to start a whole new round of questions here. You guys up for another 2 hours of this? Am I up for another 2 hours of this? I'm gonna have to keep drinking. All right. You guys who just joined then, you got to hit me up with some questions so I can answer them. Working. What do you do? What do you do for a living? Since, you know, it's my unofficial job to make sure I find out what everybody does. So what do you do, girl? Yes, please do hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, if you're watching this replay, definitely hit subscribe. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/MNTV family. Patreon.com/MNTV family. The best part about live is every mistake gets recorded. Yeah. Tells me there's 5 people watching. Is there 5 people watching right now? Seems like that. All right, at least you're getting watch hours in. Yes, which is, I'm just so appreciative of. And you all know every little bit counts because it is not easy to get from 0 to monetized. Is a long slog. Like I've said in one of my blogs, you got to treat it like a business, right? You got to treat it like a business. You got to take it seriously, right? YouTube don't play around. They're not going to give you nothing for free. You got to put in the work. And once you put in the work, then you get the benefits. So I am here today putting in the work. Oh, you do hair and makeup. Cool. That's why you're so good at it on your things, because you're just like, boop, 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 boop. Look, I did it all by myself. I'm done. It was so easy to do it by myself. Yeah, right. Yeah, they should be decent. So I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with that. 47 people in here the whole time. That's decent. I'm pretty happy with that. That's awesome for 2 hours. Yeah. That's what's up. That's true. You better work. I'm putting it in. Definitely got to put in the work. Yeah. That's true. All right. Girls that just came in, what's your questions? Travel questions. Ask me something. Give me something to answer and I will answer it. I've been talking for 2 hours straight on travel and travel stories, but if you got something, I want to answer every question that I can and go through it. I don't want you guys to feel like you missed out too much. So if you've got something, I am happy to answer it. And I don't know how Curtis did 8 hours of this. Whew. Curtis, respect, man. 8 hours of this, in there doing the whole thing. Mad respect for you, man. Definitely. Because it is not easy sitting here staring at nobody, talking at the wall. How do you eat healthy on trips? Girl, you have seen me in my vlogs. What makes you think I eat healthy anywhere? Anywhere. You've seen me. How do you eat healthy on trips? This is what I do, and I think I mentioned it before. My rule when I go out and travel is, number 1, I eat whatever everybody else is eating. All right, so if everybody else is eating healthy, I eat healthy, especially when you're in a place where you're going to be for a while and you're like with local people or whatever not. I never ask them to make something special for me or anything like that. So, I always eat what is there. And the nice part is most places you go, they eat healthier than we do in North America. So it's actually a lot easier to eat healthier than we do here. Most places cook a lot more naturally. Most places have better food. They use more veggies and such like that in their cooking, just in general, because it's cheaper, right, than a lot of meat and such like that. So I actually tend to lose weight on trips, not because I'm trying to limit my intake, but just because the food is in general better and better quality. That's one of the things that we lack in North America right now, is just good high quality food, because all our food is processed to high heaven. You know, it's GMO, this pesticide, this hormone, this, that in it. And that's why most of North America is fat, right? It's not even that people are not trying to eat healthy. People try to eat healthy, but to eat healthy is really expensive here, right? The healthier the piece of food is, the more expensive it is, which is why if you're trying to save a buck or two, you end up going for the processed food. But when you travel, most of the food ends up being of a higher quality. It ends up being, you know, less GMO, less processed, stuff like that. So it actually makes it a lot easier to eat healthy, because the food's just better, right? It's just higher quality, better food in general, almost everywhere you go, right? That's one of the big problems about North America, is why people are getting fat, right? It's not because people aren't trying to eat healthy. It's because it's nearly impossible to do that, right? For real. Right, I couldn't do it. That's true. That's true. This is tough, right? 2 hours in, and I mean, I'm thankful for you guys for coming in. I'm really thankful. But yeah, sitting there and doing the talking and stuff like that is not it's not easy, right? So props to people who are doing it all the time, right? For sure, that is true. All right, what else, Latoya? What's your question? You got to have one. Where's the last place you guys have been? All right, Nikki, Maya, Latoya, what's the last place you've been? Is Yorktown still here? What's the last place you guys have been and gone to? Let's talk. Let's chat it up. All right. Did a 12-hour live the other day. Girl, that's right. I remember, because I popped in on that for probably the last couple of hours. Man, you're a true hero. I salute you. 12 hours, man. Houston. And where are you from again, Latoya? Remind me, where are you from? Going to Houston. From what state are you at? All right, Nikki, Oklahoma City. Is that a long drive, Oklahoma City? South Carolina. Okay. So that's not too bad. That's still a little bit of a trip. And it's different. I mean, that's a different culture from South Carolina to Texas. That's a bit of a different culture there too, isn't it? Right? Did you feel like it was different? Like traveling, from where you are just to Texas, did you feel like it was, a different vibe than where you're from? Right? Nikki, you too, Oklahoma City. Right? I think I saw that in the vlog, but what was it like tell me, you guys, like, do you guys feel like it's like, I know it's the United States, but does it feel different when you go from like one state to another? Or you're like, wow, this is a different place. You know what I mean? Like, is it like that for you guys? Last place you've been to was LA. LA. Just like, were you just in the LA area, or did you do anything fun? Did you go to any of those theme parks or anything like that they got there? Hit Universal or Knott's Berry or Legoland or Disneyland or any of the other lands, Universal Studios, do any of that stuff? South Carolina, yeah. Yeah. 10 to 14 hours, I think. Yeah, that was a long one. Definitely different. Yeah. I was talking a little bit earlier how I went to Texas when I was in my 20s. It was when I was still married, and we had my eldest son. He was about 2. And just, I said, like, up here in Canada, we don't have the race issues like you guys have down there. Like, people don't say things to your face up here in Canada. We're kind of like polite like that, like it's our thing. But I remember being down there, and because my kid was mixed, and people giving us dirty looks and stares and whispering. And one lady even said, how could they do that to their child? Talking about how can like a white girl and a black guy get together and have a mixed race child or whatever. Not I was pretty shocked. Like it was a different thing. Do you know what else was different? See, in Canada, we do not have a Second Amendment or any amendment, actually. So never, ever have I ever had to go to a place and been told, for instance, don't bring my gun. Right. And I remember going into the office building that I was going to be working in Houston, right there, a big plaque that said, please remember to not bring your gun into the office. I was like, say what? Say what? Don't bring your gun to work? Who has to be reminded to not bring their gun to work? And I was like, yeah, well, I mean, I am in Texas, right? Canada, we have gun control here, right? You can't just pick up a handgun and have it. There's no concealed carry or open carry or any carry, right? You have to have a license to even own a handgun. And just even then, you can't just bring it around with you. Like nobody other than the police has a handgun on the street right now. Doesn't happen at all, period. Right? You can have like a rifle and such like that, like a long gun, but even still, there's rules about it, right? There's rules. So I was shocked. Like I was just like, don't bring your gun to work. Who needs to be told not to bring their gun to work? Man, shout out to South Carolina. From your friends in the north. Oh, what else? I only feel different when I go to the West Coast. Oh, those West Coast people. I was in Atlanta a few days ago. Yeah, I remember you blogging about it. I hope your stepmom is doing okay, by the way. I really do. Sending out all the good vibes and all that I can from up in Canada. And you know that our good vibes are more pure. Basically, Cali. Yeah, Atlanta give me weird vibes. I'd be so I don't know why. Atlanta. Oh man. Really, I wonder why. Why is there something I don't know about Atlanta? Like I'd like to visit there one day, but like should I not? Like is it shady? Like tell me, dish the tea on Atlanta, people. Nikki, I don't play around with them people. I'm only scared when I stop in small town and nobody look like me. I was joking with my kids on our vlog that's coming out next week. We were in a small town just coming out of the provincial parks called Milk River. And I'm telling you, there was nobody who looked like us there. Nobody. And we walked into this restaurant and we're like, table for 4, please. It wasn't as bad as all that, but it was a weird experience because, I mean, even here nowadays, it's pretty rare to find a place where there's no black folk. So it was pretty weird. And I'm only stopping right off the highway. Don't go too deep. I remember once when I was young, actually, it was just before I went to Thailand. I was working at a amusement park we have here, the Callaway Park. And I remember I was operating the Ferris wheel with this girl who's native. And I was doing the loading and the unloading. And at one point, this little white girl, maybe like 9, 10 years old max, she's there in line. And she's in line. She's having a good time, blah, 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 blah. Happy, 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 happy. She gets to the front of the line. I'm about to just measure it and make sure she's at. As soon as I start coming near, she starts bawling. This girl is terrified of me, right? And I'm like, whoa, okay. So eventually, like the person who's with her kind of measured her, and we got her on the ride. And as soon as she got on the ride, Ferris wheel starts going, happy, 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 happy. Gets off the ride. I'm about to take her out. As soon as I come near, she starts bawling again. She is just like, she's terrified of me. And afterwards, she gets off and the kid goes, and this person who I found out later was her aunt, she comes to me after, and she's like, I'm really sorry about that. It's my niece, and she comes from an all white neighborhood. I was like, oh, what? An all white neighborhood? I'm like, where? This is Canada. Where do you find an all white neighborhood where they ain't never seen a black guy before? It was something. Like, it was one of those times where you just, like, you don't even know what to say. Not even that it happened, but then the woman had the gall to be like, she came from an all white neighborhood. Like, that explained it away. That's the only time in Canada I've had like an overtly racist encounter. I hate Atlanta. It's crazy people. That's why the trip was short. You would have stayed in Atlanta a bit more, but they're crazy. That people crazy. Oh, for real. When I walk in and the record scratches, I'm leaving. Oh, that happened to me once it was when we were in Houston. We were going on a cruise, and we came in to, was it Houston? Yeah, came into Houston. We were way early. So we just got out of the airport, and we asked the taxi driver, can you just take us to the nearest IHOP? Right. This was when like IHOP was a big thing because we didn't have them up here. So like, take us to the nearest IHOP. That's where we want to go. And we walk into this place, and it wasn't even like white people. Like, it was all like Latino, Mexicans, all that kind of stuff. And we walked in, and literally the music stopped. Everybody stared at us. Like, we had our suitcases and stuff like that. Me, black guy, my white girl, my white wife at the time, and just every conversation stopped. Every single one. Right? It was bad enough that the guy who was serving said, you know what? I'm gonna call you cab. This is my personal guy. I'm gonna make sure you get out of here. That bad, because you Americans are crazy. Right. I did what I needed to do, got out of town. Atlanta is crazy. There's too much going on. Crime is high, poverty is high. People are flexing, acting like they have it when they don't. The traffic. Curtis, can you rank those in priority order, please? Which one is the biggest issue? Is it that they're crazy, that there's too much going on, that the crime is high, that the poverty is high, or that they're flexing, or the traffic? Like, order that for me. It's horrible. Oh, yep, Curtis, I live in the middle of everything you described. That's Chicago. You know what? My big memory of Chicago is, do you remember in like the 80s, early 90s, there was a show called Family Matters with Steve Urkel and all that. And that family lived in Chicago, right? So that's all I remember of Chicago, black dad with a, police officer and his nice family, back in the heyday of like black TV. Remember that? That's what I think. Anytime I think of Chicago, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I had a white dude tell me he never saw a black person in person before. How? Like, even on Fox News, they got black people. Like, I never seen a black person in person before. Like, what rock do you live under? I'm sorry, I don't buy that. I don't buy it. I do not buy it. No, no, never seen a black person in person. What are you talking about? Lord, 1 to 5 crime. Family Matters. Do you know what? I'll tell you. When I was young, everybody used to call me Urkel. He was going, "You Steve Urkel." And I was like, hey, until I realized that, Steve Urkel was played by an actor who, makes tons of money. Then I was like, okay, yeah, call me Steve Urkel. Why not? That means my real name is Jaleel White, and I make more money than you ever going to see. Hey, he saw one on TV once. I saw a black person on TV once. I thought they got burnt in the oven. Black saw one on TV. Oh Lord, it's just not in person. Oh man, where I was when he told me I believe him. Oh, I don't even know what to say. I do not even know what to say. I don't understand. I don't get how nowadays people are still like that. Like I said, I mean, in Canada it's better for sure, but we still get some people who are like that, and I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't get it. All right, it's not like it's 100 years ago anywhere where the only way you find me on a plantation. We're everywhere. We are everywhere. What do you mean? Never seen a black man. Oh Lord, guys. Oh man. Anyway, do you know what, guys? This has been a treat. I have really enjoyed it. You guys are awesome. I'm gonna call it though. I am gonna call it because I have got to get ready for tomorrow. I'm gonna be driving down to Edmonton, another 3-hour drive up north with my mommy. Maybe I'll even blog about it, but I should probably get some sleep because I'm going to be doing a lot of driving. So, guys, thank you so much for showing up. Everybody who watches this on the replay or anything like that, thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate you guys. Remember to like and subscribe, and check out the Patreon as well, patreon.com/MNTV, where you get the behind the scenes exclusive access to me and the kids and all that other kind of fun stuff. Support what we're doing here. And until next time, like I always say, keep exploring.